All right, hello there. I'm sorry I'm off late here. I was trying to get on at 4 o'clock. I have had nothing but technical issues every single show I've done so far. I don't know why it's got to be so difficult, but it surely is. I am doing this on my phone. I hope it looks okay. Last time I did it on my phone, it looked like crap. So, and I can't show you the palette. I can't show you my web address. I can't show you all the cool little things on the side that I had planned and photographed for you. And I really worked hard on trying to get a nice presentation for you, and this is the best I can do right here. I'm sorry, I can't even quite get this thing. Let's see if I can lower that. Try to get that artwork centered there, and that's all you're going to see is the painting. You're not going to see, really, you don't need to see me anyway, but I mean, it would be nice if I could show you the palette and other things like that, but I've got this thing locked down, and it's set right, and I'm hoping I'm doing something live. I'm going to go here and check and see if I've got anything going live right now. Theoretically, I'm supposed to have something going live, but there we go. All right. Okay. Let's try to get right there, maybe. Okay, I'm looking at the screen. It looks a little better. And I think I can actually interact with people now a little bit, maybe. I'm not positive on that. Let me see if I can come over here and get things happening as far as that goes. I'm sorry about the technical issues. I have just not done well at all on this end. I'm doing okay when I'm filming stuff, but the live thing, not so good. Okay, I can see that I'm there live, and I can actually probably catch some okay. Okay, I'm hoping everybody can hear me. I tried to, I'm using the phone. I don't even know what I'm doing. Okay. All right, let's see. It looks like it's pretty good. I think I've got audio. I mean, it's the phone. I'm assuming so. Let me see if I can come over here and see if I've got any audio. Yep, I hear audio on there. Okay. Well, seems like my technical issues are behind me for now. So I'm going to take a breather for a second. Let you guys join me here in just a second. I'm going to go get myself a little something to drink after all that craziness I just went through. Literally the last 2 days in a row, the XSplit broadcaster decided to dump 2 minutes, 3 minutes right before the live broadcast and just freeze and crash my computer. So I won't be using that again. XSplit, suck it. All right. Should be the sound of refreshment. Oh yes, it's not a beer. It's a water. Here we go. Bubbly water. Oh my God, that feels good. All right, that was definitely kind of left me a kind of little shaken there a little bit as far as trying to get set up. But I'm calming down now. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick up my palette here today. I'm going to try to show it to you there. I don't know how well you can see that, but I've got some nice mix of colors on there. It's not really very good. You can't really see anything worth a damn. But, you know, I've got some browns, some tans, kind of rose colors mixed in with gray in the middle, and various greens over on the side. And then I've got space to kind of mix them all in together a little bit on the brush as I go. I kind of mix on the brush as I go, which is not necessarily the way you should do it, but it's the way I do it. Now, as usual, I'm going to go ahead and get a little rag. If you've watched me a couple times now, I like to oil up my canvas with a little, in this case I use grapeseed oil. You could use linseed oil, you could use walnut oil, you could probably use any kind of vegetable oil. It wouldn't really matter, whatever you got on hand. So I'm just going to do this again. I'm going to come in. Now remember, we painted this black and white underpainting on Tuesday. You can go back, I guess, to my to my page there and find the video archive there, and it should have the underpainting of this that we did on Tuesday. And we did this on a black canvas with white acrylic paint. And there we go. I think that's pretty good. Let me look. I got a pretty decent sheen. I might want to go with just a little bit more, just to kind of, it's a small canvas, so it's easy to get around it and get it really worked up to the corners. There we go. Really work it in. Really give it some elbow grease there. There we go. Okay, so now I've oiled up my canvas. And the reason I do that, I don't like to use like, there's mediums that you can use and stuff to slick your canvas and whatnot, but they are very toxic and very nasty, and I'd really, really rather not use them. So grapeseed oil, you can cook with that. I figure it's edible, it's probably not toxic. So, and it works great. It's just a lubricant to put on the canvas that's going to mix all right with the oil paint. Linseed oil is usually what's used in the oil paint itself. There's different oils that are used and stuff like that. But I think just about anything would do, as long as it doesn't do anything weird with your paint if you mix it in. Wetting my whistle one more time. All right. Now, today we've got that all set. I've got my palette set. I've got that set. Now what I want to do is talk about my brushes again. Just like the other day, I'm going to start in the background, and I want to start with a filbert. And a filbert is kind of like a flat. It's a round tip brush. If you turn it to the side, you can see it's a little more chiseled tip. This is a little curvy, but I could straighten them up like that. See, you got a pretty nice chisel edge there. And then if you go this way, you've got a nice little rounded tip there. And that's going to be nice for rounded, soft shapes. And that's going to be some of the stuff we're putting in the background here. There's a photograph here, and we're going to be working some of these colors, basically. That's what's on the palette, more or less. And you can see my fan blowing the picture around, which is good. It means I got a lot of good circulation here. You want that. Okay, let's see if I've got any comments going so far that I can finally answer to. Okay, there we go. Steve Kelly can hear me live. Thank you, Steve. Thanks for giving me a comment there. I'm going to slowly get better at this, I swear. All right. So I'm going to start with the background area here. Now this is the sky up in here. Some of these lighter areas I kind of use as indicators for the sky. So I'm going to go ahead, I've got a mix. I'm just going to pretty much take some straight cobalt blue. You can see it there on my paintbrush, nice cobalt. Then I'm going to go in, and I'm terrible. I mix the paint right on the brush. So I'm going to use the brush to mix the paint a little bit. Now I'm going to tip into that blue. And I'm going to go ahead and leave one side a little darker, one side a little lighter, so I've got a little bit of a two-tone there. Not really too much, but there you go. It's not picking up the color that great. But anyway, I'm just going to come in here and I'm just going to light over that because I'm just going to make it nice and solid and even so it looks like sky. It's not going to be all blotchy. But that's the advantage to painting the white underpainting, painting white underneath, is that you can come in here and you can do so. And I can just be kind of loose on that edge too. I don't need to be too tight. Like that. Okay, and I'm going to come in and get some more. Now this time I'm going to work in a little bit more white, because the further I go down, the more, and then in here, this is just an indication of white, of sky in the back, in between leaves and stuff. So I'm not going to worry about too much how much detail I've got in there. I'm just going to kind of go in there and just fudge it around a little bit, and that's fine. One more time. Now I'm going to get a little bit more of that blue mixed back in. Darken my blue a little bit up on my brush there. And I'm just going to come here out along the top and just kind of just darken it in just a little bit more up there, and then kind of work that color down a little bit, and just kind of work in here. And once again, I'm not going to be too worried about how beautifully perfect any of that is. So there's just some little spots of blue running through. That's the sky. Maybe having a little tweak right there. There we go. Indicating an edge of a branch right here. I'll do something a little harder right there. Indicate something in the foreground, maybe indicating a branch right here too. Something. And then over here, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to kind of soften that edge. All right. I think that looks pretty good. I don't need to go too much further with that. I think that's pretty nice. The bird himself has a little bit of that light blue, and I'm going to make sure I'm very careful here. But I'm going to chisel my edge up a little bit. I'm going to try to anyway. I'm going to try to pull some paint and kind of flatten when I'm stroking, so I get a a more of a chisel edge like this here at the edge. So I got a sharper edge on it. That way when I come in here, I'm gonna hold this brush in real tight like this. Almost, you don't have to hold the brush way out here. I'm gonna hold it tight like a pencil right here. I'm just gonna come in right here and I'm just gonna kind of just light in just a little bit of blue. And it's gonna look almost white right there on the bird, just a little bit. Just to indicate some light bouncing in there. That looks good. I see a little tip that I might want to put right here on the edge. Indicate a trunk and the edge of the treehouse. So just one little area there. That's going to indicate a trunk back here and the edge of the treehouse right here. Both at the same time. I can even indicate some bushes or leaves up at the top, kind of going like that. That's something. Alrighty. Now that looks pretty good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, and before I forgot to do this, and I'm going to show you again now, when you get done with that, oiling up that canvas, it's not a bad idea to just take whatever oil's left in that rag. There wasn't a lot today. That's probably why it didn't remind me. But it's even going to take some of the paint that I've already got on my hands off. But there we go. And I'm just going to kind of oil up my hands real good. And that's just going to make it easier to wash up later. That'll just make it easier. There we go. And I've got a feeling it's pretty good for your hands too, a little oil. I see some other little light blues, maybe just a little bit of something just creeping through here. Those little touches something here just to indicate there's still some sky there. All right, now I'm going to take and I'm going to clean this brush off a little bit, and I'm just going to dry clean it. I'm going to take a valuable napkin, and believe me, I've been using these things like they're the last ones on earth, trying to make sure I don't waste any of this at all, but nothing really else. I don't want to make too many oily rags in here, so I don't want to kind of do that. I do it some, but that's more at the end when I'm cleaning up. I'll wipe up things and stuff with a rag, but for right now, for this purpose, I just want to kind of get that dry. So I used it up pretty good there. Now I'm going to come over here and just kind of dry her up a little bit more like that. I still want to use that filbert. Okay, now I'm going to go way in the back here. There's some light browns and almost a kind of a pinkish brown here and stuff where there's a trunk, and all this stuff's kind of loose in here. And then there's some darker leaves. So this is kind of mostly light browns and some greens mix in. I'm not going to worry about this edge right up here, but so it's going to start maybe right in here. So I've got kind of a light brown mix already. Let me kind of just come over here and see how that looks. That looks okay. It's a little more value than I'd like, but that's all right. I'm not going to beat myself up about it. I go here, now there's going to be a nice leaf coming over here. And we'll kind of give the edge of that right there like that. It's going to be kind of in back of that one. There we go. Right there. And we'll kind of come around some of this and bring it on around. And there's going to be a little bit of that blue. And then some of that's going to come back in here, and actually I'm going to get some indications, some of that back here where these trunks are and stuff. And some other, I'm just going to be kind of loose about it. Right in there. I'm just going to loose that up. That's not really too crazy. I'm going to grab some white with a little pink, actually I'm going to use just a little bit of a rose color mixed into that brown and make it a little bit of white just to lighten it up. I'm trying to get some more highlight along in here. That's good. I come down in there like that, and I don't want to beat into I don't want to beat into that blue area at all, so I'm kind of trying to avoid that. And then there'll be some streaks and strokes and things like that, maybe little indications and stuff down here, just little bits. So I'm not going to go, like I said, I'm not going to go real wild. Let's get a little of this, a little of that. Now I'm going to grab a little just a green, just going to mix it right on that brush. And this is a kind of a distant green, so I'm going to mix a little gray with that green. A little green, a little gray. A little mix of that, a little bit of green and gray on there. Let's see that, all right? There you go. And I'm just going to kind of come in here, and I'm just going to kind of fill in those in-between areas. Just kind of right in between there. I'm going to go to all those little in-betweens where it's still dark. And I'm just going to kind of pop those in right there. I'm just going to go in between them all. Because this is going to kind of be a gray neutral color a little bit. I don't want to go too crazy, you know, be in between every last bit of it the same. Let's get a little bit darker green, maybe a little darker color. That's more gray, grab some green there. That's fine. And just mix in, I'll come back up here, a little bit of that darker color. I'll come over here and get some more gray. And I'm just going to kind of mix it around, just kind of vary it a little bit. So it's not too uniform. You don't want it to be all uniform and stuff. There you go. And then I'm going to come over here. There's a lot of stuff going on over here. A lot of this color in here. Now I'm not going to go too far there. So I want to work some darks in. So let's come up in there. Now I'm going to work in a little bit of a darker color. So I'm going to take a little bit of a darker green, some more of a mossy green, a little bit of a darker gray, and it's kind of get a darker green. That's kind of a darker green there. Once again, just mixed it on the brush. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to indicate some it's a little not quite dark enough. Let's go just a little darker. A little darker. There we go. A little darker than that. A little darker. Okay. So I'm going to come in here and some of this area, kind of down near the bird, and I'm going to kind of darken in some of these areas here and really watch what I'm doing down in here. Got to watch the edge of this guy, but I'm not going to worry about it getting them perfect there. And a little bit there. And just getting a little bit of a darker area in there, and then some of that can also coming down in here a little bit. I'm just going to kind of pop it around a little bit. Maybe down in here, down back in here. So we're going to have a little all that all in here, all back in there. That's fine. Okay. And that looks pretty good. Now I'm going to go with a darker brown and maybe a little bit of a manganese violet mixed in with some raw umber, and that's going to be a darker color even. And I'm just going to come make sure that I've got some darks that I don't kill over in here, and that when I blend in some of these lighter colors over the top, it's going to pull some color out of it a little bit here and there. And once again, I'm going to go fill in just a couple of areas with that since it's a variance of color, and just kind of do that a little bit. There you go. Now we're looking like we're starting to get a background in there. Now I'm going to go with a little bit of a lighter color. This time I want to go with a little bit more of a turquoise and a cooler blue, and a little turquoise and a little cool green. Cooler green with a little turquoise mixed in and some white. I don't want to go too far. And then I'm actually mixing back in some regular green, so it's a little more turquoisey, a little lighter. Kind of mix that on that same filbert again. You can see right there, it's a little more turquoise, a little lighter. And we'll see if that color flies, if it's the right color to throw in on top. And it looks pretty good. I think it's got it could go a little lighter. I like the tone of it though, so I'm just going to throw some more white in. And just lighten it up, because I like the color itself. So I'm just going to lighten it up. Now I can come in here, there we go. I can just kind of pop around. Now I'm going to just kind of take my brush and I'm just going to kind of tap it around in here. See how I'm holding it? And I'm just going to give you some of those round shapes that I want at the top. All that other stuff's kind of buried underneath, so I'm not as worried about that. And and I'm just going to go down and try to find areas again. I don't want to kill every single dark, but I want to make sure that I'm, just come along and just popping some bushes in there. Remember, this is all supposed to be a little out of focus, so I'm not going to worry about too much. Don't necessarily want to get down. I didn't mind. I went over the bird there accidentally. That's all right. It was a sloppy stroke, but doesn't matter. I'm going to be cleaning up on that bird anyway. So let me kind of go in here and make sure I don't miss anything in there. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now there's some brighter greens and stuff down in this bottom area. So I'm going to kind of go with a little bit of a brighter green. Kind of more of a bright green in there. And I'm going to come in some of this area right kind of near where the bird is. There's a little, indicate some light, some little things happening back in there. Yeah. There you go. And I might have had a few of them in here, a few of them in there. And a little brighter green right there. That's nice. Just kind of fill it out. Don't worry about whether you're going over. It's okay to go over stuff that you're going to paint back over. That's fine. Doesn't hurt a thing. Now, I've got all that into where the values are pretty good. I could take a little bit more of a brighter green, a little bit, and just pop a few really special highlights in a few spots here. Let's kind of get a little nice little indications that there's some light kind of popping near him a little bit, so that's why he's lit up. And then back here there's a little indicator of some light too, so I'm going to kind of get another lighter color and kind of come right back in here and hit like just an area that hits some light. And maybe right up here it'll be a little bit of light right there. There's a dark leaf here, so that kind of doesn't hurt me at all to come and get that leaf. I'm trying to make sure I go with the shape of that leaf a little bit. There we go. Same thing there. And, work some around. Okay, now I'm going to take another brush, and I'm going to take one I want it to be pretty dry. I know it's a flat is fine. I'm going to make sure she's good and dried up. Nice dry brush. I just washed these before the show, so they're a little wet, but I dried it up pretty good. Now I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to really watch up in here. But I'm just going to kind of tap with the edge of it. See it? And that's going to come along and tap that edge. Tap that edge out. And I go around all that blue area first. So I'll vary it once in a while. Go down. But just get the edge. Just get the edge. Just get the edge a little bit. Just go right around and pick up whatever colors around it. Doesn't matter. Every once in a while, take the brush, clean it off, come back in, kind of go around these edges a little bit. We're just trying to get rid of all those little black dots and stuff that are in there. They will disappear on their own a little bit, but let's just kind of go in there and do it for it. That's right. That looks pretty good. Right in there. That's nice. And I'm just tapping. Like I said, every once in a while, clean that brush off so you'll muddy up the brush if you keep tapping and tapping and tapping away and just going at it without cleaning the brush. You'll muddy it up. You'll muddy the brush up, and the colors will start getting grayer and grayer, and you don't want to do that. So then down here, I don't need as much because I kind of like the shapes that the brush was making down here a little bit. So I'm just going to go like that because this is a little closer, so I don't mind. So now I'm going to just very lightly, just very gingerly, keep that once again. I'm going to come in here where there isn't any blue, and I'm just going to kind of just fluff it, almost like you're doing makeup, you know, almost like you're doing dusting in makeup, where you're just blending it in real lightly. Secret to bad makeup is poor blending. That's something I learned a long time ago when I had to do makeup for models when I was doing photography out in Hawaii. I photographed the swimwear issue for Hawaii Magazine for a number of years. Worked with bikini models. It was a tough job. Somebody had to do it. But, but the gals I worked with were great, and it wasn't always that easy. It was, see, and I'm just kind of fluffing it out a little bit here. Then later on, as this thing progresses a little bit, and I'm going to kind of, as I go, I'm not going to do as much. I'm going to kind of slowly but surely taper off here a little bit and do less and less to where we go into here, and now there's barely anything. I'm just going to barely tap because I don't want to ruin those dark areas, those nice little darks and stuff in there. Just going to gingerly go around the bird here a little bit. And there he is, and then I'm going to stop right about there, somewhere in there. That looks pretty good. Now, I'm just going to let that sit for a while. Eventually, when it's towards the end here, it'll have dried enough. Uh-oh, what does that mean? It'll have dried enough. I'm getting waves and things like that. Okay, let me go. That means I need to go over here and look at what's going on. Let's see, Gail Schilberg. Hey, Gail, how's it going? Got two from you. Another one, Steve Calright. Very good people. Let's see, Marty Preston and a few others have checked in a little bit here and there. Alrighty, very good. That's cool. Alright, so now I think the next thing forward probably is going to go ahead and I'm going to count it as these big leaves right here. Now there's a lot of darkness coming off this leaf right here, so what I'm going to do is just kind of give an indication that leaf is kind of curling off here a little bit, and that way I'll know not to kill that area. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start with the dark colors, and in this case I'm going with the flat, not the filbert. I think I will go with filbert. I'm going to change my mind because I can. Alright, now I'm going to go over here and I'm going to grab some darker greens and a little bit of turquoise try to get a nice, dark, beautiful color here, right in here where this guy is. He's just lumping around here. That's not quite dark enough. Let's go a little darker than that. There we go. I'm in there. That's a little better. Let's kind of come like that. Come over here. Now, I'm going to come over. We're just going to kind of give a, see, as I stroke, it kind of gives it a shape of a, I could have done that all the way to the edge, actually. It'd probably been better. And then you can kind of come in here and just lightly do it like this. Maybe put an indication of a stem there a little bit. Now, when I go back up in a minute, it's going to look a little better than there. I kind of did a fairly poor job there, but I'll do all right. All right, so same thing here. I'm going to kind of come from here, and I'm going to stroke up over the top of this a little bit. There we go. There we are. And that'll look a little better as I go. I'm going to pull this up again to where it all kind of blends into the leaf a little bit more. And then this one has a shape kind of coming like that, a little bit like that. Okay. So, now what we're going to do is we're going to hit with some lighter color, and that's how we're just going to go with straight white. I'm just going to go right on in. This one is lit just a little bit, so I'm going to come here, and now I'm going to try to get the strokes right here, here, here. I'm going to go right into where that stem is, like that a little bit. That looks pretty good. You know? And then this one's got the light in the middle, so I'm actually going to come here first, hit some of that light, then I'm going to pull them down and kind of keep them tight because there's not really much serration between there. There you go. And one more time here. Let's try to get it from there. There we go. And that looks pretty good. It looks like a couple nice leaves there. This one in the back here's a little brighter green. He's got a little more happiness to him, so I'm going to kind of pop him up a little bit there. He's going way back into here, actually. His stem is way back over here. And I'm just going to kind of take that edge and just kind of fudge it off there. All right, that's not too bad. I would have liked a darker edge along here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to correct myself a little bit. And yes, you can do that. I'm going to come over here. I shouldn't have started that way probably, but I thought my paint was darker, so I'm going to excuse myself on that. But right here, I'm just going to take some, I took a little thinner, I'm taking that, and I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to, it's not quite like erasing, but similar. Let's take that down. Let's see, I pulled it back again, I was stupid. But that's all right. There we go. Use a clean one every time, clean draw every time now. That's pretty good. That's all right. That looks kind of okay. I could have done better on that, folks. I apologize, but hey, can't win every single thing, every single stroke. Now I want to kind of come up over here with a little bit of a darkness on the edge of this, just a little bit, just to indicate that there's something going on there, and then back up in here. We can indicate maybe something going on there. There we go. All right, well anyway, we got some leaves coming over the top here. I'd like to get that tip right here. It'd be nice to be dark too, so let's just that tip dark right like that. There we go. That looks better. And come in, and I'm going to darken this up again a little bit. There, there, and there. There we go. That looks a little better. All right. Any more, and I'm going to be beating that up, so I don't want to do it. Okay, now I want to do some of the big leaves that are kind of right back here in back of the birdhouse. There's some dark ones back first. So I'm going to start with a new brush. This time I am going to go with a flat. And I'm going to thin the paint out a little bit by getting a little bit of paint thinner in there. Just to thin her out a little bit. And then we're going to go with a nice, deep, dark green. It's not quite as dark as the other one. It's going to have some green left in it. But mostly we're going to go pretty dark right here along the edge of this birdhouse. And I'm just going to kind of come in here and I'm going to indicate a nice leaf shape there. Just pull it like that. I'm going to pull another one down here. Come along that edge, and I'm going to indicate some other leaves popping up, maybe here and there, like that. And there's a little tangle of leaves right there. I'll put another one right there. Connected. There we go. Okay, and there's going to be some leaves on top, so let me kind of give a little indicator there's something else happening there because they're going to put some more leaf on top here. Now I'm going to grab a different brush because I want to do this fairly quickly, and I'm going to grab another brush, similar size, and this time I'm going to go with some a little bit of a brighter green. Once again, keeping the, I'm going to dip into a little bit of that thinner, so it's not too crazy. And I'm going to just hit it with a little bit of gray just to make it not quite as bright. And that's good. And I'm going to come in here and there's some leaves popping all in here. So I'm going to go like that. I'm going to grab a leaf here, there. Just going to indicate a few. I have one popping right there. And that's it. And that's all you really need. I don't need something too crazy up here. Just an indication there's some leaf happening over there. And maybe go again with a little bit more of that dark just to get a nice bottom on one of these. There you go. That's nice. And then maybe another kick on the top there. That's good. A shade under that one. That looks good. Now, I don't want it to go too detailed. Once again, that's not where my focus is, but I do want something back there. And then now you can see that this is not looking as in front of this as it might, but it will once I blend that in. I've got to let that dry a little bit. So I'm waiting till the end, until towards the end to do that. Now I'm going to go to this area where there's some trunk and whatnot here. So I'm going to grab this brush again. I'm going to use some dark brown right in the middle here. And somewhere along this edge right here, cutting off that area. And then I get some light area, lighter brown to kind of pop in the middle of it. Because there's a little light coming in. That's coming mostly from the top, so I'm going to pull down. And I'm going to pull that down. And I don't want to go too much further than that. Looks like wood, leave it. So there's that. Then there's some more wood coming right up along here. It's got a little bit of a texture going, so I'm going to kind of turn the brush this way and that. So it doesn't all stay the same and even. There we go. Now, let down. It's going to go that way. And that kind of grain is kind of going this way a little bit. There we go. It's cutting off right there. Very nice. Now, get some sienna. I see a little sienna color coming in right at the edge here. And it's starting to cut in here a little bit. And I'm going to have to go much darker than that. So I'm going to get a little bit of this, a little bit of magenta tone in there, a little darker brown. And kind of come in and try to, yeah, there we go. And that's giving me a little indication of color there. I like that. And then back in here, there's some more. And then this is starting to get darker and darker in here. So I'm just going to kind of leave it. Indicate some, you know, right in between some of the little serrations in there. And I'm not going to go crazy with it. I'm just going to leave it like that. That's enough. That's good enough. There's some of that same brown. It's going to be there's almost like a grain here that's coming across. And then I see some kind of coming that way too. So they're right there. And so now we've got a little bit of an indication of some stuff happening back here. That's nice. I like it. Now, I'm going to go ahead now, and we're going to go ahead and indicate, we're going to go ahead and use the filbert again. I'm going to clean her off, get some same brush I've been using. I've mixed a lot of paint on it so far, but it's a small canvas, and if you keep it cleaned off, you can get away with it. Now, I'm going to go initially with a little bit of a darker color underneath. So I want to have an indication of shadow. So I'm going with a pretty dark color. It's a cool green, and I'm actually going to mix a little blue in it just to make it a little bit even more of a blue-green. Not quite a turquoise, but it's sort of that color. So then I'm going to get a little bit more blue. And then what I'm going to do to dull it down, I'm going to put just a little bit of alizarin crimson in there, just to darken her up a little bit and give it just a little bit of something other than green. It's going to kind of dull it down a little bit. So what I'm going to do is there's a stem coming down. I'm going to kind of leave that alone. And I'm going to come up in here and I'm just going to kind of go in between. I'm one stroke each. Try to figure out what you're doing. Get smaller at the end. Same thing here. You're not really going to see much of that over there, but I'm painting on a dark color. And with these, with a fern, they literally line right up perfectly symmetrical from one side to the other, like an arrow or something like that, where they don't stagger. Some plants stagger, some plants don't. And while I've got that color going and I like it, I'm going to go ahead and say, all right, well, I'm going to hit some of the lower areas of this with some of that. And I'm going to kind of go like right where I see it light, I'm going to kind of go in betweenish a little bit. I don't mind overlapping it a little bit. And then I'm going to do it here. Make sure that stem's in there. And I'm going to do some down here, in between, like that. And there we go. So we've got a little bit of more going that way. Now, let's see. There's a couple of them coming over here, but they're pretty bright green. They're pretty lit. So I'm not going to worry about that too much. So now what I need to do is indicate all this area kind of in back of this here. So once again, that's a kind of a tan brown color. And I'm going to, there's a little darker edge to some of it. So I'm going to come over here on this edge right here, and I'm just going to kind of come in there. And I'm going to lighten my brush, lighten my stroke right as I get down in there so it kind of gets darker because it's already black there. Do you see what I'm saying? There you go. So that's not so bad. And then I'm going to come up this way. And that's going to be the edge of that. Now, let's get some Naples yellow and some white. Mix it on that flat. And I don't mind if it mixes up a little bit uneven and all that. That's fine. And what we had is we had this kind of come in like that. I changed the shape up on it a little bit, but it's more or less like that. And then I can kind of, there. That comes like that. Right to there. There we go. Now I'm going to get some white, pure white, right up on top of that. I'm going to mix it right on the brush again. And I'm going to come over here and I'm just going to kind of hit that bright edge and just kind of tap it back a little bit because I don't want it to be totally, I'm going to leave a little, there you go. It doesn't need to be perfect, just like that. You don't want to go crazy. And once again, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to hit this top. And I'm going to pull it, and then I'm going to thin it out as I pull it down. So what I did was I pressed the brush in more, and then eased it off so it goes down to a, little tip there. And there you go. So that's going to indicate a little bit of a curve up in there, and that looks pretty cool. Now there's one that the bird's sitting on too. So again, even though, and I don't even have to paint the whole thing. I really don't. Just a little bit there is fine. Now. That's all in the area in back here. We've got a little bit of area right in here. I want to kind of indicate a little something here. Let's just lighten that up a little bit. There you go. Okay. Now, I feel that area in the back's come pretty dry. So now I'm going to use, yes I am, I'm going to use my fingers to blend this in. So I'm just going to come over here and I'm just going to very softly, and once again, watching that blue area. I'm going to watch that area real good. And the blue can be crispy, I don't mind. And every once in a while, keep that paper towel with you, and just kind of just lightly dust it in. Now make sure you wash your hands good after you do something like this. You don't want to eat that oil paint, and you don't really want to rub it too much into your skin. But I get paint on me all the time, and I think as long as it's not on there for extended periods, and it's not cadmium yellow or some really horrible color like that, I think you're okay. I think for the most part you're okay. Alright, and that's starting to blend in a bit. There we go. Now I can come up in here and be a little bit more frisky right along the edge here, right along this edge, and try to, kind of kill that edge a little bit there. That's okay, I'll go back in and get that. That's alright. Sometimes you got to go back. But this way, everything's kind of more softened up a little bit. Still, you can see how much it kills those blues too over the time. But now, that's starting to look way further back there. Now, if I come down in here, I can really kind of go for it a little bit more because I really want this to stand out. So I don't mind letting that all right in there get nice and soft and blurry right in there. I don't mind that at all. See? There we go. Nice. And then right in back of the bird, it can be blurry right there, right up around him. And that's nice. Don't be afraid to come up to the edge there. There we go. Now, that's blended in pretty good. I think that looks pretty good. See how it looks on the screen? It doesn't look too bad. It's a little bright on that side, I think, but it's looking pretty good. All right, let's go look at the comments once again. I'm going to try to do that a little more often. Now, what do we got here? All right. Well, thank you, Gail. Amazing gift. I appreciate that. We got a few other people. Hey, Jason Cole. Got some other friends. Sam coming in the house. Ken Chapman. My Bro Phil over there, Mark B. Lee. Yeah, we got some people watching here and there, I guess. All right, now I'm going to get ready to hit that fern up top and the other ferns. And then we're going to hit that birdhouse. So let's do the bird. Let's hit the fern now. I'm going to come on over here. And now I'm going to grab a pretty light color. It's not super bright, but it is bright. It's pretty bright. And this side is brighter on the inside, so I'm going to kind of go like that. Be careful how I stroke it. Want to kind of get nice at the end there. Just be careful. One time, one shot. Like I said, you can't do this. I mean, you can do it more than once, but that's not the way you should do it. And then once again, this one's going to be darker, so I'm using the same, literally the same paint and paintbrush. I'm just kind of letting it slowly eat up the paint. See how that kind of gave it a little bit of a shade on this side. And even though I used the same paint the whole way, I just used one shot of paint and went down and then went down. So it got darker and darker towards the tip, which is probably what it would do. And then I made sure I kept a little area in there for the stem. So we're going to do that same thing here again. This one I'm going to go a little bit darker paint because I don't think this is quite as bright as the other one. So, although I'm making them up, so it doesn't really matter. Once again, started there, and then I'm going here, and slowly but surely, some of the paint gets eaten up. That one's not as, a little further back, so I don't mind. Now, there's another indication of something right here, and I'm going to give it a little edge there, a couple of shots, and then also in here, there's a little something. I don't really want to do too much. I just want to give it some foundation to stay on. Now over here, this is a kind of a little delicate little thing. I don't even know if it is really a fern. If it is, it's a different, maybe like a maidenhair fern or something that's a little more dainty. So I'm just going to be careful. Same thing in here. This one, I mean, just barely has anything on it. So I'm just going to very lightly kind of do that. Now I'm going to go into that cooler color again. And I'm going to come over here, and I've got some of that cooler color that I used originally and some of the green. So now I'm going to kind of come right here. There we go. Now as I hit some of this white, that should brighten up a little bit. Right there, a little bit. Just a little bit. See, it got a little brighter as it went along. Now I'm going to go with a darker, and let's hit a little dark color on there. I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to kind of do that again. That's fine. Lost a little detail, but I don't mind that. That's fine because it's not about just that thing. Okay. Now there's going to be some more wood and stuff up in here, and I ought to probably been best served to do that. But I'm going to put some highlight back on this here in a minute, so that's all right. Now let's kind of. This is a little shorter things, and it's kind of shorter little leaf blades. And I'm just going to kind of barely indicate that one. Now I kind of made this one up over here, and I'm going to really light this guy up pretty good over here. So let me kind of just give it a little bit of edge to the dark right here. Just a little bit. There we go. Just a little bit. This one I can do the same thing. Right there. All right. Now let's go back, and I'm going to get that brown again. And we're going to mix this kind of a little lighter brown in here, mixed with some little light coming from just in back there. And this is kind of a woodsy grain shape, so I'm kind of trying to imitate that a little bit. It's coming into the shadow here, so I'm going to be very careful to not go too hard there. And then once again, we got a lighter area right here a little bit. Light's coming from underneath, so I'm going to kind of peel it up that way. Peel it up that way and keep the light like that. Same thing over here. Now this is a little more grayish tone, so I'm going to kind of indicate a little bit more of a gray tone here. And I'm going to come over in here, and there we go. And it's got a kind of a weird shape of something there and then something here. So that's going to kind of give it a little variety there. And I'm kind of just pulling it all this direction to make that kind of coming back, and this is doing this thing down here, and then disappearing off into the nether down there. Now I'm going to take some of that manganese violet and mix it with some burnt sienna, and I'm going to get some nice colors, darker colors down in here. A little bit, just tap them. Not going to go, once again, not going to go too crazy back there. I'm trying to indicate some other woodsy colors back in there a little bit. That's good. Okay, let's kind of pull some of those same shapes back in here. I can pull it right up over those leaves here just because I'm going to want it to make it look like it's standing out here. Let's get a little edge right there, that's good. And then I can kind of feather this guy down and in. Just kind of feather them up. There you go. Now let's kind of take this all, just kind of feather it up a little bit. Make sure I pull it over the leaves that I already did. They're there. And let's try to be careful there. Come in there. All right. That's looking pretty good. All right. Now I'll come back in and hit some of this stuff again. Now we're going to go ahead to the birdhouse. Up here, I want more of a pinkish, I got a little bit more of a rose color mixed in up on top. And these, once again, I'm going to start right here with the flat. I'm just going to pull it that way and do it again a couple times and kind of make it a little blotchy here and there. Edge, and kind of be uneven with it. I see that same bright color right here, and it's coming this way. So because there's more little slots here, I'm going to kind of do that in little shots like that. There's a little brightness down here, and kind of now it's going to kind of come up over the top. I'm going to come back this way a little bit with it, a little bit. Try to be mindful of the shadow and stuff there. That looks good. A little bit of shape. There's a little bit of indication of some of that color here, and that's about what I see for that color in that area. I like that color though, so I'm going to come right here and try to give a little tip there. There we go, I like it. All right, now let's grab a couple bright spots. So I'm going to dip into a little bit of white right there, and once again I'm going to kind of try to just give myself a little light there, some light popping through here. It's kind of coming down through here, and that's it. There's a little light coming right off the edge there, a little bit of light off that edge. A couple streaks of things there, a little bit off the bottom here, maybe a little bit, and then we got some stuff once again coming in from the bottom like it is over there. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now we're going to go with some. It's going to mix in some browns, some various browns, kind of through there. I think it's a little more brownish right in here. So I'm going to pull some of that, pull it from this edge a little bit, where it's a little, still some light there. Uh oh, somebody calling me. Let's see who that is. See if I can get rid of them. Somebody I don't know. Decline. All right. Now, dip into some darker brown again. And I'm going to pull some of that darker brown down here. So be careful with it. That's it. That's nice. And there's some darker browns in here. Some mottled stuff that's lands on the top there and whatnot. Now, let's get a real nice dark brown, dark. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to kind of hit some of this area right here, some of that right there, some of this right here. I'm going to hit a little bit of that, a little of this, down in this corner. That's good. Now, let's take some, I'm going to mix some colors right here on the brush. I'm going to take some whites, some tan, some pink, and I'm going to kind of just put a little bit of this here and a little bit of that there, and you'll kind of see on my brush it's kind of a little mix of stuff on it, a little bit. And I'm going to come over here, and that's going to give me a little variety of color as I kind of pull through here lightly. There we go. That's pretty good. Now, same thing here. I'm going to try to get some, there's some shade coming up from the bottom here. Do that. It's got some from the top down this way. Kind of peels off there. There we go. On this one, this kind of comes over a little bit. This Something's coming over the edge there. That's looking pretty good. Now I'm going to get like a real nice red, mix a little yellow in it. I'm going to kind of get a nice deep orange. I'm mixing a alizarin crimson with a Hansa yellow. Getting a nice orangey color. And I'm going to come from the bottom back here, and it's going to be, oop, that's a little too bright. I can see it already. I'm going to pull that back with a little bit more dark color in it. There we go. Just like that, just to kind of give that edge to the wood there. Same thing here, there's a little color coming through there, a little bit. Now let's take some of that, let's just kind of work a line or two of the wood across, like that. That's going to make it look a little bit more like panels of wood there. That's good. Now, that same kind of orange, kind of orangey color, I'm going to go back to a little bit lighter. Actually, a fair amount lighter. I'm going to put a little bit more Naples yellow in there too, and I'm going to come and I'm going to give this guy a nice, oops, that's not bright enough. Let's come over here and grab that ounce of yellow. That should be good. There we go. That's fine. And let's see if we got that color anywhere else in here. A little bit, maybe. There we go. Now, I'm going to take that same color. I just mixed in some green right to it. Just ran some green right into it. So I got a little bit of that brown. I'm going to darken it up a little bit too. And I'm going to come in under here. I'm going to let it fade off to the edge there. That's pretty good for underneath. I think that looks pretty good. Okay, now I've got another edge right here. And this one is kind of dark right here, so I'm going to just barely hit it. And I'm going to hit it good down here where that other end is. Okay, now to indicate that we got a nice edge there, just hit a bright shot right there, and then we get a little bit of a brightness right there on the edge. There we go. Now we got more or less the birdhouse in. I'm going to give a little bit of green now. There's a little bit of lighter green from some moss and stuff growing. So we're going to let that happen. Pull some of this from the bottom. Got some mossiness. A little green. A little worn out from being in the, see more down there. There you go. Some more of that right there. That's good. There we are. Okay, that birdhouse looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. Now, let me just try to kick in a little bit more of a edge on some of this stuff. So I'm going to go in some pure whites. Mixed already on a dirty brush again. And I'm just going to hit this edge right here because I want that to be bright and stand out. And same with this one. I want it to come down. There you go. Let's make that stand out a little bit more. A couple of good highlights in here won't hurt. And a little bit more there. Let's get a little bit of a highlight down in here. Just kind of work it. Let me get that edge. There we go. Nice. Okay, and then we've got this edge, this bird sitting on this. Okay, now we got a nice dark brown in there. So when we get some dark color up under here where he's sitting, and there's a little piece right there. It's going to come down, and don't worry, I'll pull something in front of it, but I want to indicate that that's there. And there it is. Okay, now we're going to do some really bright shots of color. Super bright. On just a few of these leaves down here. Boop, 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 just a little bit. Can't hurt. Now coming in here, and there was a real bright little shot right here. Let's kind of, I'm going to get some paint thinner. That paint's getting pretty thick on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to squeeze it back down to a point and get some thinner in there into the mix. And I'm going to thin out that bright green. That way I don't have such clumpiness. There we go. Now, over here, a little edge, little edge, little edge, little edge. And it's picking up that other green inside of it, which is fine. Let's go over here. I'm trying to indicate something pretty delicate here. Pretty delicate. Pretty delicate. There you go. It's kind of delicate like that. Let me get a little brighter shot there. Little tips of things. And then there's another one that's kind of very tippy. Very, you know. There we go. So I'm just using little tips. There we go. That stuff's going to come squirting off here and there. There we are. I'm going to start pulling that in a little bit. There you go. Nice. And then we'll pull this back. A little bit like that. There we go. That's nice. And once again, it's starting to eat up the paint, which is making it darker and darker, which is beautiful. It's exactly what I want. A little light underneath there. Now let's get this guy, and let's really, really hit a bright one right down here. So this is going to be bright almost all the way down. There we go. That's nice. And then I want it bright over here. This one's in closer, so I want it to be a little brighter. There we go. And bright off the tips here. There we go. Now I'm going to want to indicate a little bit of a darker green down in here, so a little bit of some of the stem. So I'm going to kind of pull that like that a little bit. There we go. That's nice. Okay. Another one down here, darker, darker, darker. And some other indications of dark colors and whatnot down here. I'm going to pull in some more lights to indicate some bushes back in here. And you can see I'm just kind of just tapping it around, getting some bushy shapes here. Just make it look like there's something else right in here. That's fine. Maybe put a little bit there. There you go. And now, yeah, that looks pretty good. Now let's get some nice light bluish highlights maybe here. On some of this one, like this right here. I don't mind that. There we go. There we are. Okay. Indication of something happening down there. Now, let's see here. Now, I want to come right here. I'm going to let that all kind of blend in right there a little bit. I want it to be totally black. Blend that in a little bit. There you go. Just a little bit. Not too crazy. Alright, now let's go for that little baby. Now in this case, I'm going to take a smaller flat brush. Smaller one. At the very top, he's kind of almost a light pinkish tint kicking off his back. So I'm going to start there. He's got a little crest on his head right there a little bit. And then this kind of comes down. Oh, that's not very, that's too fat, too fat. Thin that out. There we go. There he is, a little crest. He's coming down here. That a little bit, and he's got some that same color popping in off the back, and then his tail shoots almost straight out. Let's get that again. Let's see where his tail is. He's a happy bird, so we're going to make his tail pop up a little bit. And then he's got some brightness right back in here. And then once again, we got a little bright spot maybe right in there. Now we're going to get that. I'm going to start with the darker blue, which is more of a Prussian blue. I'm going to start back here, this wing back here. I'm just going to kind of bring it up a little bit right there. Bring that wing down there. There's going to be a little bit around here right by his eye. Right there. Like that. Now, I'm going to go for cleaning that brush. Now I'm going to go for a more of a straight ultramarine blue. Just a touch of lightness on it. I mean ultramarine. Did I say ultramarine? I meant cobalt blue. I'm sorry. That's nice. Let's get that cobalt in there good and strong. There we go. That's the color. That's the color. We'll feather that off a little bit. Pardon the pun, but we're going to feather that off. There we go. Now, I'm going to go with that light blue here up underneath. Right there. That's nice. And right in there. Now we're going to get a super bright white color. There we go. Now we're going to get a little bit of this kind of a creamier, warmer, light color. It's going to come right in here. And there he is. Good. Okay. Now, let's see here. We got them pretty good. Let's get some of the blue now. I'm going to get down with a little bit more of a detailed brush now. So I'm a little more detailed. So I can come down in here and get some of this color a little more accurate right in here. I think his eye's a little bit more forward. There we are. And there he is. Now we're going to feather it all down. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to feather this all in so it's kind of blends a little bit better. There we go. I'm going to feather that in here. There we are. That color looks pretty good. And now we're going to get same thing, this little detail brush. Now we're going to hit the wing, which kind of got killed a little bit. I'm just going to use a dark color. So the wing's right here. Bang. Sorry about clumping up stuff on your brush there. Well, I'll tell you, sometimes I just rush things. Alright, let's do that again. There we go, that's better. Now a little bit more here, and then he's got his eye is right about there, I'm saying. Right about there's his little eyeball. He's going to have a little beak coming out here somewhere. He's going to have a little indicator there. There he is. Let's get that wing. Now let's get the top of the tail here. The tail's going to come on right out there. There he is. Okay. Now let's go with a little bit of a super light blue, very light color. Trying to make it light, and then come around where his eye should be. Come around the back edge of it, right like that. There we go. He's got a little eyeball there. Put a little peak on his eyeball. Doop, doop. There you go. Now, get a little bit of white and yellow here. Again, to try to peek out there. There he is. Now let's take some white. Let's try to kind of blend in some highlight here. Blend a little highlight. More of a highlight there. There we go. Now, I get a nice strong hance of yellow. Trying to get a nice tip here. There he is. He looks pretty good. He needs some feet underneath him. So let's get a little something up underneath. So he's going to have a little something here. Shading down this way maybe a little bit. There we go. There he is. He's got little feet coming down in here. Let's do that. Let's get that in there good. And let's get little feet coming down here. Try to a little on the fat side, so I'm going to come over here and get some of that green that's in back, and just kind of come over here and kind of peel them down just a little bit there. A little bit. There we go. Now I need that bright color off the back, which I kind of just missed. Let's try that again. Well, unfortunately, right now we got a little bit of wet paint problem. It's a little too wet to really paint much anything else on there. I can try one more shot with a nice flat, maybe try to get a little chisel edge shot on there. That's a possibility. Let's give it a shot. We're just about wrapping up here. I appreciate everybody joining me today. Hopefully this turned out okay for you. There we go. Little chisel wedge there. Give me a little. It's gonna be a pure white spot right there. It's gonna be a pure white shot. Pure white shot. Right here. There we go. Alrighty. So there's the one little bird. I need to get a little black spot on his eye. He's gonna have a pupil in there. So let's make sure that's good and done. See if I can get that right in the middle. Oop, not a good point on that. Let's try it again. Go here. There he is. Got a nice little spot there. Now, I just want to indicate he's got a happy little friend right here. I'm just going to put a little blue right there. A little light blue. Oh, shit. Did I use that word on? Sorry. Scratch that word. That's all right. Let's go over here, get some dark brown, and we'll kill that little spot right there that I just messed up. That's all right. That's it. So I just want to indicate that there's maybe another bird in there. Just like an indicator that there's maybe another bird in there. There we go. See, little beak there. Okay. Well, for the most part, I think we're looking pretty good. I could, obviously do a little bit better on some of the highlights and values in some of these areas. It'd be nice to have a little bit more, right there, for instance, and a little right in this edge would be good. But for the most part, I'm pretty happy with the way it came out. I think overall, I'm not going to complain. I think the overall look of it looks pretty good. It needs to be tightened up, but this is a live painting, so there's really only so much you can do in the end. So I'm trying to do the best I can for you guys. There we go. Alrighty. Well, there is the bird painting. Let's see if I can get it with a little less glare on it. There we go. How's that? I think that looks pretty good. The colors are much nicer than you can see really on here. But in any case, I really appreciate you guys coming along and hanging with me today, watching me paint. It's always good fun to do a little painting with you guys. And, it's nice to catch yourself like I am right now, missing a spot. But that's all right. You can come in, you can play with this thing as much as you like. And that's the beauty of painting, is you can always come back, especially with oil paints, you can come back again and again. Watercolors, not as much, but, All right, everybody. Well, I hope you enjoyed the painting, and please come back and see me next Tuesday. We'll do another underpainting, and then we'll do oil painting again, just like we did today. We'll do that again next Friday. So Tuesday at 4 o'clock, black and white underpainting with acrylic paint. Fridays at 4 o'clock, we're going to paint in oils live, and we're going to try to knock it out. All right, thanks again, everybody, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Let's say goodbye. Okay, it's Meryl. Hi, Meryl. And we've got, let's see, a couple other people chimed in. And I appreciate y'all watching. Take care, and we'll see you next time, all right? Let's see how I can finish this. Let's see if I can press that button. Not quite. All right, so here's what I'll do. I'll take this off. And let's see if we can come in here real quick. See if you can see the colors and stuff a little better. You can see the blue, some of the colors and things a little bit better over here. All righty. All right, everybody. Have a great day. Bye.